Hello everyone, welcome to another speedrun episode against Gillinate, rated 1453, who opens up with c4, the English. So let's play e5 and take the center. He now plays e3. Maybe he wants to play d4 or something. I'm going to go with a d6 setup. And I'm going to take this pawn. Because I don't think this pawn duo is particularly good. Because I didn't play d5, so it's, what are you exactly pressuring? It's weird. Queen's Gambit makes sense after d5, so you can pressure it with pieces and pawns. But I didn't put it there, so it's a little odd. And now I can just go g6, and I'm going to fianchetto. And now this pawn cannot be protected by other pawns like this. It can only push. But pushing makes my bishop super strong. So let's fianchetto it and pressure this guy, which cannot be defended by pawns. So he defends it with pieces. He starts allocating resources. So let me bring my bishop out and pin one of the defenders of the pawn so I can add more pressure. And then I can take that knight and remove the defender. So he breaks the pin, but he could have just kicked me and left his bishop flexible. Okay, so I'm going to develop, but why am I going to e7 and not to the normal square? Well, one, I don't want to block my bishop, but two, I want to go to f5 so I can pressure the pawn another time. So he brings his queen out to the side. This does look at the b pawn, which is undefended currently. Maybe I castle, and he takes it. I go knight out, threatening his pawn if I take his knight. Although this diagonal will be super weak at that point. Maybe don't let him take it. Okay, I'm going to make... how do I want to deal with this? Okay, so maybe instead of castle, what if I just do the knight out, which is more energetic, and then let him take? Then I can at least follow up with rook over. He has to go here. His b pawn's hanging behind that. Okay, that I like. So castling kind of was a little too slow in the other line for me to really enjoy it. But now I think I can enjoy this line because I get in the extra rook development. And the queen's rook comes with threats. So he doesn't go for the pawn, he goes for the pin, threatening maybe to push the pawn and, win the knight. But now I could just castle and there's no pin. So that's super weird. And doesn't make any sense. It feels like a waste of a turn. So we castle, which builds up our position, and I'm not sure, like his queen was better on b3, I feel like. So he just develops a piece towards the center. No big deal. I'm not sure what the queen escapades were. He kind of made two moves that gave us a knight development and castle. I feel like our moves are way, way, way more useful. Okay, but he just casually develops, but what if we take the knight? He takes back, and now we take this pawn. He can take this pawn here, but after we hit the bishop, there's the b pawn. There's also this diagonal. Yeah, definitely worth it. I'm going to sack my pawn. So let's take this defender off the board. Fine. Now do we have an even stronger move? I feel like this is pretty strong. It's unfortunate we don't have this. So this, if he does take and I go here and he tries to protect this way, which seems odd, then I have the fork. Okay, let's take his central pawn. I'll gladly trade his central pawn for the b pawn. Wait, what did he do? Oh, he takes it. That seems kind of crazy. I guess I don't have the fork, but after I go rook b1, your knight will be loose, kind of. Okay, let's see what happens. Take the pawn. I mean, you have to take the pawn. If you're going to go down this whole line, if you don't take the pawn, you literally just lose the game. Because I have all the pluses in the position and I'm up a pawn. So if you want to put me to the test, you can try to take the pawn. I still don't think it's good though, so that's why he's hesitating. Mr. Gillinate. Who joined 3 years ago. If I take this, his pawn structure is all messed up. He moves his rook, attacks my bishop. I guess it gets off this diagonal. That's something. But now we can just take our win condition and run. Like if we take this, we ruin his structure. We're up a pawn. We play c6. I don't see what he does. Maybe there's better, engine lines mathematically, blah, 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 but who cares? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Opens up a place for our queen. We could put our knight here, our rook here, and put our queen somewhere. And let's see what he does. Yeah, we have this pawn, but who cares? Even if he won this pawn, then material would be even, but he would have these weaknesses in an endgame, in a heavy piece endgame. Which would make it much more pleasant for us no matter what. So he just castles. If you do want to put your knight here, which kind of looks nice, as well as here, but it takes forever to get there. If you do want to put it here, he can kick it. You could try to maybe even solidify it a little bit, gain a little space, but I'd rather do something faster. So here. I suppose we can fianchetto, and e6 is a beautiful square, so I'm not worried about that. So let's go here. Since e6 is a beautiful square, that even leads to c5. Otherwise, it's nice here if he doesn't kick it. It also looks at this pawn. Rook e8's coming, and we still need a nice queen move. If he ever pushes, we push. Although he can push again. I forgot about that. My queen is here. We could just move it out of the way temporarily since we do have double defense. Takes. That's also reasonable. If we push and he pushes, I don't think we want that because we can't support it with a pawn again. And our queen. If we go somewhere and he takes and we go here and he goes here. Takes. Yeah, I think we just move our queen and support the pawn. And now, if we go here and he pushes, we can take that pawn. Okay, he takes, we have to take with the knight. But now we have this structure. Blunts his bishop. Gets rid of one of his pawns. So that was good for him. One of his doubled pawns. But now we have a 3 versus 2. So if we can trade into a king and pawn endgame, we automatically win. This is hit, although our knight needs protection. And where can we put our knight that's a good square? Okay, he moves his queen. This threatens to win the knight, but that's all it does. It also walks into a double attack. So maybe he just hung material. Let's go for it. It's a defended square, so even if it didn't, this is fine. Oh, I think he wanted to attack our knight and defend the pawn, but this just makes it worse. So this guy's fighting for his life. We're just trying to convert. Our king is safe. And if we could just trade our knight for his bishop, that would, I mean, if we could trade everything, that would be great. Okay, he moves the queen because he has to. I don't want to pin my knight to my queen, which is undefended, so let's take with the queen instead, winning a second pawn. Now it's a 3-on-1, and I have a passer. This comes with a fork. He automatically moves. Now I could establish this here saying, this is an awesome knight. You can only get rid of it by giving up your bishop. You'll get one pawn back, but that's it. However, that's very drawish. If we take this, is our knight trapped? What if he goes rook here? I have no knight moves. Then I support it. I guess it's not trapped. I can always go here on a dark square. Okay, see if he just hunts it, then I can move it. He had to try to restrict it, not hunt it. He's going this way to try to get the pawn. He's making quick, fast moves. But I can go here since my rook's defended. This is not a tactic because my rook is defended. So everything is secure. And now that I have this construction, he has nothing to do, so he does the fianchetto nonsense. This knight protects this pawn, and this pawn protects this knight. So I don't need my rook, right? So if I just push this pawn, even though it looks weakening, my knight forever defends it. So he would have to rook exchange and then take this pawn. So I'm going to create this construction that's self-sufficient, and he can't actually target anything unless he got a rook somehow behind here to hit this, but that's not realistic. So now my rooks are free to go. So I can even just push this once my rook is gone. If I go here, he might have this weird idea of taking here, sacking the bishop, picking up this pawn, hitting my knight, taking the other pawn. And even though that's winning for me, I'm going to spend one turn doing an unnecessary thing, which is if he takes, well, now it's just obviously losing. So now when I push, my rook's not hanging, and it doesn't give him that option of going down that kamikaze line. Okay, so he does go here, and he does get behind it. But at this point, too little too late. Let's see. We go here, and we can push either of these pawns to promotion, kinda. I feel like because there's two of them, he can't stop it because the knight supports this. This is a super weird construction. He moves his bishop. We now get our last piece in the game. Okay, he trades, which relieves pressure, which means we can infiltrate, helping win the game. He goes here trying to create a blockade. The downside is our knight can hit both colors. Let's just move our rook. Let's go here, supporting our pawn push. Our king always has a square, and he is a light square bishop, so our king is always safe. Maybe he's trying to get to the back rank, but who cares? Okay, let's keep pushing. He's going here. He's going to try to coordinate like a last-ditch effort or something. But let's attack him and protect our pawn. By doing this, we can move our rook. Okay, we have this check. Does it do anything? Well, now we threaten to win the rook. He doesn't see it, so now we can win the bishop or the rook. Let's take the rook, and then let's go behind our passed pawn, and then let's push it, and he should resign. Okay, he doesn't resign. We'll just cut off the king. as he wastes everybody's time in spectacular fashion. There you go, guy. You got your trades. Good job. So now the easiest way to do it is to ladder mate him. So let's put them next to each other instead of opposite, because that gets confusing for the brain. And he tries to hide in a hole. I mean, what's he doing? Come on, you rat. There you go. Okay, so these pawns are kind of messing up the traditional ladder mate, but it doesn't matter. He gets put in Zugzwang, and then we're going to get our ladder mate, whether he likes it or not, after a little back and forth. So, okay, that was a pretty long game. You know, lots of moves, deep into an endgame. He played the English. A lot of people don't like this. They have trouble with it. But it wasn't a true... I mean, it wasn't the way most people play it with G3 and the fianchetto right away. He did some weird stuff. So we have this setup where we go for F5. And, okay, we have 2 mistakes with 96% accuracy. Not bad. We'll get to them, though. It was a pretty long game, so 2 mistakes is not the worst. So we take this pawn. Of course, you have other options. Oops. You can do whatever you want. You can support the pawn, develop a piece, ignore him, push, take. We take, he takes. And now we prepare development. Development and center. Development and center. Development, center, king safety. Development, center. Yeah, I knew this was a bad move. Okay, so just king safety and unpinning. This attacks this another time. And I put it here to go to F5. I even said it in the video. Why didn't I ever make that move? That's funny. Anyway, I removed the defender. And then I go for a pawn. It's kind of free stuff, but he could also take this. But instead he takes the knight, so force move. He moves his rook here, which I didn't think was good. It says castling's best. How bad is taking this? Minus 2.6, completely losing once the rook comes over. So I evaluated correctly that the rook over is just good for black. I didn't even bother looking for any other moves, because if he can't take the pawn, then it's not critical for us, and we're just better. So he attacks the bishop, and okay, turn off the lines. We are supposed to take it and ruin the structure, so I'm glad I did that. Okay. Now I play c6. Actually, this move is kind of clever, offering the queen trade and the check. That's an interesting move. But okay, c6 is more logical, just defending. And now we go to f5. Okay, a little late, but better late than never. And so here is my first mistake. Oh, I guess that's my only mistake, because the other one is when I'm -9, so it doesn't count. Okay, so I had one mistake, and here it was. It wants me to push, but I thought pushing, he could push again, which is his best move, or one of them. And then it says I can push past. Oh, wait. I didn't even look at that. Why didn't I look at that? It is well defended. You could push past. My brain didn't even think about it. Okay, I mean, it's still kind of weird to have a pawn over here. I guess since it's on dark, although here, here, here. So we do reroute it. Now the pawn's kind of loose, so if we attack it, bishop back, it's still hit. Ah, we're just in time. No wonder why this works. We're just in time with knight e6. That's actually not so obvious. Also, what's wrong with my move per se? It is the second best move. So logically speaking, I wasn't far off the mark. It's just that d5 apparently, computer line wise, keeps that pawn and therefore a nice advantage, as opposed to letting him undouble. So I go queen f6, and okay, so he does undouble. Yeah, so it basically just removes the positional weaknesses in the position for him. Whereas in the other line, he would still have the double pawns that are fixed and weak, and we would have a really annoying passed pawn. Now, okay, I can't say in 30 moves if that pawn's still going to be there, but the engine says you can support it. Okay, so we'll take that one mistake. We'll own it, and we'll go down this line where it looks kind of drawish, but we're the ones up a pawn with a win condition in the endgame of 3 versus 2. He does have this bishop, so, and it's only one pawn. Then he moves his queen again, which I said is a mistake, and we go from an even game where black is pushing to he makes this move and black is just winning from here on out. So now we just improve a piece for free, -2. So just black's just winning from here on out because now we get the second pawn, which creates an unstoppable 3v1. So now in all permutations, so the difference between a 3v2 and a 3v1 is in rook endgames, especially double rook versus double rook, all those drawish options are gone. You know, if you have rooks against just the 3v2, you can kind of hold that. But if it's 3v1, you're not going to hold it even with your one rook, two rooks. You know, it doesn't matter. That's just going to be a losing endgame. So he moves his queen because he has to, and free stuff. Force move, free stuff. Goes here, which is not a good idea because we get that invincible construction we got in the game going here. And now everything is self-sufficient. That's why it's -5. And I'm just going to throw in one random comment that no one will get. This construction is like what white wants to do when white's facing the Benko gambit. This is kind of what they try to do on the queen side to block the counterplay. And if they can establish this construction, it's usually good for white. So now that nobody knows what I'm talking about, let's get back to this. So now I do this just to support this so I can move my rook. No big deal. I make one unnecessary move, which I mentioned, just to push this pawn. You have infinite ways to convert this. Whatever, doesn't really matter. So what are the other ways? I mean, you can do whatever you want. I was thinking of pushing my pawns, which are the best moves. You could even push this one, although what's the point of this one? He goes behind you, do you just... Yeah, it doesn't even matter. You do what you want. I go here knowing I'm just going to challenge it anyway, and he has nothing to do. He just has to wait to lose. He has no active plan. He just has to try to blockade these, which can't ever work in reality. He trades a force move, and now he can't stop this. It's 3 versus 0. So even though if you're like, oh, this light square blockade, your knight can hit light squares if it moves. So you can always support the pawns, so he can't stop you. Here I support it with the rook instead of the knight just to leave the construction. I push, and the rest is history. We just push everything one by one. So that was that. Good luck in your chess. See you in the next game.